Hi everyone, Leda here, and today I'm back with the sixth part. I think it's video 6 of my Endo Story to kind of just share my journey with endometriosis. Quick disclaimer, if you are squeamish about period talk, female pelvic health, things of that nature, there will be links in the description box below that you can go directly to my channel or to my other videos and enjoy those. And if you are ready to listen to the next part of my Endo Story, then stay tuned. In last month's video, I covered adjustment to life with a dog and how we discussed maybe we should get a dog. We can't have more children, at least it's not happening. And, how can we grow our family? And the beginning of the journey of dog ownership. In today's video, I'll be covering how we've kind of learned to live in the moment because of Lola and because of dog ownership. After having Lola for a few months, we noticed how she started impacting our lives. Slow and steady, but it was such a positive change that she was bringing to our lives and our everyday tasks, just daily living. It was just such a rewarding and positive experience. After we started socializing her and doing dog training to kind of weed out that last bit of aggression that she had and to just become more social and calm and relaxed and to trust our leadership, we noticed a transformation in her that was just amazing. But it wasn't because of, us showing the leadership or because she was becoming more calm and relaxed, but because she was showing us a transformation within our own selves. We started realizing that we were settling for a life we wanted no part of. We started living in silence and almost like avoiding each other and not that we were avoiding each other, but I did notice that we were barely spending time with each other. And I realized that even though I was getting a better handle on my depression, I hadn't had suicidal thoughts, since we got Lola, and I was on a day-to-day basis, like checking my energy and checking myself, I feel like the damage that the depression I experienced had run so deep within our family that it brought awkwardness to our lives. My family had walked around me on eggshells this entire time, and I'm not talking weeks or months, I'm talking years of being careful what to say, when to say it, how to approach me, and I basically became unapproachable. Not only did I become an unapproachable individual, but they didn't even realize that they were kind of like avoiding me. So after I started realizing all of this, I felt like the next hurdle was to kind of lead by example and open up communication between the three of us, especially between myself and my husband, because we're the adults in the household. But then it was like, how do I lead by example? How could I make them see? How could I help them or guide them to know that I realized kind of like the errors of my ways, but I wasn't really in tune with my energy, with what I was putting out. I was just feeling what I was feeling, pity partying all the time, and it was just bouncing between the three of us. So how can I show them and tell them that I see this, that I realize it, and that we must all make a change? Not just myself, not just my husband, and not just my daughter, but all of us. We've been through basically hell all these years together. How do we go out of hell? How do we get out of this vicious cycle together? I kind of wanted them to realize that I wanted to talk to them and not be angry. And I wanted them to tell me things and talk to me without fear of me snapping or saying something, kind of in a snotty kind of attitude, negative attitude, response kind of thing going on. So I wanted them to see that I had this realization and I wanted to stop. That's the thing about endo. You don't realize how it impacts every single aspect of your life. From the smallest of things to the most major of things. It impacts everything from big to small and everything in between. You don't even realize that it's happening until it almost ruins something in your life. Whether it's a relationship, a marriage, a friendship, relationships with your family members, whether they're close family members or far family members, work relationships, just everything basically gets eaten up by the effects that endometriosis has in a person's life. You live so long mustering up the energy to live your life, to push through the pain and function as normally as you can. It takes so much time and it's exhausting to pretend that you are completely and totally able and capable and that you can function in your daily life like everyone else can. And this is something that becomes a vicious cycle because, like I said, it impacts every aspect of your life, and you're sitting there living for years struggling with an illness that you didn't even know you had. And after all that time of pretending that you're fine because that's what the doctor says, hey, this is normal, every woman goes through it, you're making it more than what it is, just take an Advil and relax at home, take a day off from work. So you start thinking like, well, maybe I am making it up. And I've got to push myself to be like everyone else and be normal. You go through that cycle for so long that you become a master at pretending you're completely fine when you aren't. And inside your mind, in your heart, like in your soul, you know something is wrong. But you continue living your life like everything is fine. But at the same time, you're questioning every decision, every thought, every move that you're making, the plans that you agreed to. You're questioning, like, should I even say that I can meet with my friend for lunch? Should I even say that I can babysit my nephew? Should I even tell my friend that we can go to the movie theaters? What about date night with my husband? I'm not too sure that I can do it, but every other woman does it, so that means I can do it too. So I guess I'll just make the best of it. And that becomes your reality. And then slowly, as you have the self-doubt constantly increasing, you're continuously told that, it's all in your head, you're making it more than what it is. I mean, you have a doctor saying that you're fine, so no one else believes you. It's very rare to have an endometriosis patient have people in their life that believe, yes, you're right, something is wrong. I know something is wrong because that's what you're telling me. As opposed to people in your life that say, well, your doctor said blah, 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 so they're right. You're making it more than what it is. And as that cycle develops and continues to grow and transforms, it transforms who you are. And you probably become bitter. I know I did. I became very bitter and resentful and like I didn't want anybody in my life because you guys just don't get it. You don't know what it's like to live the life I live. But they're looking at me like, stop throwing yourself your pity parties and get out here and do this barbecue thing, or get out there and do your job. You've been homesick for 2 days because of a period. Who does that? You need to go to work and pay your bills. So you're carrying this negative ball of energy around in your life. It spills into every little aspect of everything. Something as simple as, I'm going to go out for dinner tonight because I don't feel like cooking. And then you're like dressed, walking out the door, and you get a cramp and you're like, oh shoot, I'm not going to be able to go and get myself some food. I have to stay home and eat at home, but you also can't cook. So then you want to order out. Fine. Let them bring the food to me. No big deal. Who's going to answer the door if you can't get up off the couch? Then what happens when your circle, family, and friends don't support you, don't believe you? At the very least, they can't even seem to understand what you're going through. It just doesn't click. They don't get it. What happens if these people become abusive to you? It's bad enough that you're abusive to yourself because you've already fallen into this vicious cycle, this vicious way of living life and of thinking and believing that maybe you are making things up, even though your gut, your soul tells you that you're not. You start doubting yourself. So now you're carrying out this ball of energy that's horrid. Then you've got people in your life who don't support and understand you or care enough to make an effort. And then it starts falling apart little by little. The little things that you took for granted start falling apart and becoming less and less important in your life. This is how I was basically living my life for so long. You know, my friendships, all levels of relationships being affected by my pain levels, by my nausea, by my unexplainable diarrhea or constipation or gastroenteritis. Like, I had all these random symptoms, all these things going on. And when I was not experiencing those symptoms, I was exhausted. I was recovering from whatever I was feeling a day or two before, and I was just too tired to do anything. After Lola came into my life, I always had to keep myself in check. I always had to talk to myself, have a conversation. How am I feeling today? Am I in pain? Am I angry? Do I feel flustered? How's my breathing? Am I breathing really fast? Am I breathing really slow? Am I really tired? Am I calm? It doesn't matter how horrible my body feels, as long as I can manage to keep myself calm. That's the important thing. And Lola was guiding me through that little journey. I couldn't pretend to be someone who I wasn't with her, because if I was pretending and I wasn't calm and I was angry, she was projecting that same energy back to me, and we were just clashing. We would not function together at all. Our walks would be zigzags everywhere because she didn't want to follow me. Who wants a leader who doesn't even believe themselves? Going through that process made me so aware of who I was and who I had become and who I was becoming. And even though it was still pretty early on in dog ownership, it was a very quick lesson that I was learning. I became so aware of my behavior, of my reactions, of the things that I said and felt. One day, I realized, holy mackerel, if this is how I'm projecting myself to the world, I am placing so much stress on my little family, and they are not deserving of me treating them like that. Even though I didn't realize that I was doing this, it just happened on its own. But it became such a horrid thing that I was involved in, basically. You know, it became this thing that I was just tossing at them and didn't even realize it. And then after I started realizing it and things started clicking for me, oh my gosh, I felt like such a horrible person. I felt like total crap. I was emotional for so long. There were nights that I just cried myself to sleep because I could not believe that a wife and a mother would make her husband and child feel like she was unapproachable. I can't come near you at all, even if I want to. I mean, seriously, how could I do this to the two people that I love the most with my soul in the entire world? I mean, to say the least, I really did feel like crap. After I dusted myself off, you know, I did allow myself a couple days to kind of pity party and cry it out or whatever. And I dusted myself off and I was like, you know what? If I've got to keep myself in check for the dog, I definitely got to do it for my family, because they are even more deserving of me being a better person. And the person, and out of all of us, including the dog, the one that is the most deserving is myself. It took a really long time and a lot of hard work. When you're not used to being aware of your own actions and of the things you say and the things you do and how they affect those around you, you really have to make such a conscious effort. Every little thing, every little single step that you take throughout your daily life becomes work. I mean, honestly, it does become work because you've been putting yourself first, but in such a way that it takes away from a positive life experience is the best way that I can describe it. And after some time of practicing that and everything, and I sat and I talked to my family. I told them, like, look, guys, I'm realizing this is what I do. This is how I react when you say this, when you do that. This is what I'm doing and what I'm saying as a response. And it's completely, totally unfair, unacceptable. I am deeply and truly sorry. And we must work together through this, because even though I'm starting to make that effort, I was in that vicious cycle for so long that I forget, and it just comes back automatically. And help me keep in check, like, dude, what's with the attitude? Hey, you look like you're not too good today. What's on your mind? And I can do the same for you. If I notice that because you've been walking on eggshells around me for this long that you're afraid to tell me something, it's a moment where I have to make the effort to be like, calm down, relax, take the deep breath, and let's talk. Tell me what you're feeling. What is going through your mind? I must make an effort to understand you if I expect you to make the effort to understand me. We went through this process for months, and it took a really long time, a lot of hard work individually as well as together. And no matter how bleak it may have looked in the future, like in the moment when we were discussing and talking and opening up, there were moments where the future looked bleak. We're not going to make it. Everything's going to continue to fall apart and there's nothing we can do. But I never gave up. My husband never gave up. And my daughter never gave up. No matter how hard or hurtful the truth was, we learned to stick to it, to continue to talk, to continue to put it out there, and continue improving ourselves for ourselves and each other. And I think the key to all of that was Lola. An illness like endo affects every part of your life. And it affected every part of my life and of my family's life. Your work, your family, your friendships, your marriage, money, everything, food, everything gets affected by an illness like endometriosis. Some of us face those challenges and then some. For me personally, I feel like Lola was a blessing. Almost a blessing in disguise, because I didn't realize all of these things until after we had her in our home. I feel like the path of dog ownership took a blindfold off of me and showed me how I was able to stop becoming so involved in self-pity and sadness and take control of my life and take ownership of my actions. Just because I was in pain doesn't mean I treat someone else like I'm an ass. That's not right. I don't really know that I was a total ass before, but I know I wasn't the nicest person either. And it felt so good to clearly express myself and to clearly hear them express themselves. And no one was placing blame on anyone. And we were just speaking from our hearts with openness in our minds. In all honesty, that was one of the first goals that we wanted to reach. And even though, like I said, it took a lot of hard work, we were able to do it. Then in my particular scenario, I have three people that are extremely close to me in my life. And we had, throughout this little journey, the beginning of that part of our endo journey as a family, these three people were heavily involved in guiding us and talking to us and telling us, like, keeping us in check. Like, look, you're screwing up. You need to get your act together and do the damn thing. And it hurt. It hurt. There were times I was like, whoa, I don't think I really want you in my life no more because you hurt my feelings. But again, I had to make the effort. Like, if they truly care about my life, my success at every level, they're going to tell me the truth no matter how much it hurts me. They are going to be truthful and caring and respectful, and they're going to make sure that I get the message accurately or concisely or however, but I'm going to get this message. It's going to come across to me. And it came a time where we reached a level where we were finally able to speak, my husband and I, we were finally able to speak without fear. He was able to voice concerns and stressors and random comments without feeling like I'm going to be jumping at his neck because of whatever he might say. And I felt like I was able to say what I was feeling pain-wise, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, without the fear of rejection. I'm really not ready to go into too much detail about that part of the process because I'm still pretty it's a pretty intense process that we went through and we're still kind of going through. But, it is part of my endo journey, so it'll be part of a future video. But I do have to say that none of this would have been possible had we not brought Lola into our life. We wouldn't be looking for ways to make the most of our life, of every single moment, whether it's a pain-free day or a pain-tolerable day. It doesn't matter what I'm feeling. We're always looking, how do we make the most of this moment? Especially if it's a good moment, we must make the most of it. Every day, we feel like Lola is such a blessing. She is guiding us in a way that I never thought possible. I really didn't. And I really am thankful that, we all chose, my husband and I discussed, getting a dog would be a good idea. So I want to give you guys a quick update with recent events with my endo journey. I was actually finally able to go see a pain management specialist that my new gynecologist recommended. And she actually specializes with pelvic floor pain management, kind of, therapy perhaps. And she, and not just with that, but because of endometriosis and all the ways that it can physically challenge you. At the consultation, she did explain that my pelvic floor muscles are completely wonky, jacked up, knotted up, whatever you want to call it. They need help, massive help. So I have to go for treatment with her. She recommended pelvic floor therapy with a pelvic floor therapist who is actually really well known. And so I'm currently working on phone calls and getting appointments set up and things and finding out if insurance covers it. My insurance doesn't cover these 2 extra doctors that my gynecologist referred me to. And I did get a phone call, I think it was yesterday or whenever it was. This isn't being filmed on a Monday, so I forget what time this week I got the phone call from the pain management office that they don't take my insurance. They are considered out of network, and I don't have any out of network coverage whatsoever because of just the plan that we have. So I'm going to have to pay out of pocket for treatment with these 2 doctors. And I'm supposed to be getting trigger point injections for pain management. And the shot themselves cost about $1,000, and I need 5 of them. So that's $5,000 right there that I'm going to have to really hustle doing my videos and blogging and nail stuff, selling my nails online, and really, raise this money. But I'm also going to need your help. And I ask if you could please stop at my GoFundMe page and make a donation. If you cannot make a donation, at least share my page, my link with anyone and everyone that you know, because like I said before, at the very least, you'll be sharing my journey and possibly helping another endo sister figure out that she's got something going on and she's got to keep pressing for answers. But for me individually, I'm really going to have to make some adjustments to my GoFundMe and increase the amount that I want to raise because my insurance company, they're not willing to cover anything. So I kind of appealed and submitted a request basically to have them approve in-network coverage for these out-of-network doctors because they come highly recommended and are highly skilled at treating my particular illness. And they come recommended from an in-network doctor. So there's a lot of hoopla, rigmarole, hoops, things that I've got to do, jump through, talk to people. But it boils down to whether they approve it or not, I still have to pay for this treatment. If they approve it, I have to pay for the treatment out of pocket and then they reimburse me. So just with the simple fact that I know I need these 5 sessions of pain management and each trigger point injection costs $1,000, I will be increasing my GoFundMe amount or total or goal, the goal to by $5,000. So I could at least pay for that treatment out of pocket, whether I get reimbursed or not. I don't know at this point. I'm still waiting to hear back from the insurance company. Then I have to consider that once I see the pelvic floor therapist and I go through diagnosis with her for, I guess she's got to figure out what kind of treatment that she could provide to me in my particular case. I don't know what that's going to end up costing me. Thank you to all of you who have made a donation. Thank you so much. I am deeply, deeply grateful. I'm just seriously excited that I have finally a team of doctors who know what they're talking about, who know what to do, and even though my case is pretty intense, they can help me. All the information that I've been able to research, I will put it in the description box below for you guys. So if you need more information, whether it's, searching for doctors' information, definitions, explanations, testimonials, or whatever the case may be, I will put all of those links that I have used and have been helpful for me in the description box below. So please, please, please check them out. Educate yourself and advocate for yourself. Once you learn the information and have it accurately, it is so much easier to advocate for yourself. And I really want you to get the treatment that you deserve. That is all for today's video. Thanks again, guys, for supporting my channel, for staying this long on these videos. I know that they're not your usual, 2-minute, 5-minute, 8-minute video, and they're pretty massive. And I do try and shorten them as much as I can. So again, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.